Hi, I'm Lindsay from Shreve Memorial Library and welcome to Art Club. It might snow early next week. Okay, so this would be the second time this year, but it might snow a lot. And I can't tell the future, sadly, so I don't know if it will in fact snow, but I'm certainly dreaming of a snow day or two, as I bet you are. So, I thought it might be fun to paint a snowman. So we'll have a snowman whether we actually get to build one or not. And it'll just be fun. It'll be a super simple snowman. And here's what you'll need. I'm going to do this in acrylic gouache, which is pretty much the same thing as acrylic paint. I would use something opaque, probably that isn't oil, unless you know exactly how it works. Yeah, you can use acrylic paint. I'm just using gouache because it's not shiny. Also, I like it more. It will work the same. It dries waterproof. I would suggest you use something that dries waterproof just because having blue and yellow together, you might end up with some interesting bluey mixes where you want white, blue and yellow, blue and white. Off to a great start today. Okay, so I have white, black, brown. You can use whichever, just something that's like these colors. You certainly don't need this brand of paint. You don't even need gouache. Regular acrylic paint's fine. I have orange, I have a blue, and I have a purple. And I chose purple for his hat and his scarf just because I don't want it to be particularly Christmassy. You can paint that whatever color you want. Don't think you have to do that. Don't think you have to paint it the same color I am. I also have some brushes, a big one, a couple medium ones, and a small one. And I have my painting toothbrush. Don't brush your teeth and paint with the same brush. That's a bad idea. But I have my toothbrush because I'm going to spatter some snow in the back. And I also have a pencil with an eraser on it to sketch my snowman. And then I have 5x7 watercolor paper. You can do this on pretty much any surface, especially if you're using acrylics. It does not need to be watercolor paper. It can be really regular paper. Cardstock would be better. You can do it on canvas. You can do it on cardboard, whatever you want. But I just have watercolor paper taped down so I get nice, pretty edges. I have a palette and I have water, or I thought I had water. I'll get water. And a paper towel for whatever inevitable mess I make. And that should be it. Let's get going. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide where our snowman is. And I want him to be pretty big. Oh, there's a traceable in the description. If you don't want to draw it, you can either trace it or you can just print out the traceable and color it. So I want him to be, I'm looking at my traceable over here. I want him to be about from there to about there. Okay, so I'm going to draw very lightly, draw more lightly than I am. I'm going to do the start of an oval here so I can see where the bottom is. And the bottom isn't a circle, it is an oval because it has weight on top of it. So I'm just going to see, bigger, like that. Okay, I'm not making a perfect circle, so I'm not doing the plus. I'm just kind of winging it because it's a snowman, and snowmen, I don't imagine, are exactly perfect. At least none of them that I've ever made have been. Okay, and I can probably count the number of snowmen I've made on one or two hands because, well, we live in the South. Okay, so there's my first one. I'm going to do another one on top. I'm going to do it the same way. Let's do the bottom of an oval coming over here. Again, mark lightly, especially since we're going to be painting white on this. So that looks okay. Bring this up. This one's smaller. And I'm okay with that. And then the head's going to be the same way. I'm going to come back and put a scarf, but I want to get the shape of the head in. The head is more, actually I want these to come up a little bit more. I want these to come up like that. That looks better. So I want the head to be more of a circle, but not a perfect circle. So again, I'm not going to draw that plus sign. If you want to, you can totally draw the plus sign. I need it to overlap. Remember, don't worry about the bottom really, because that's going to have the scarf on it. So this comes up, oop, too big. I'll kind of make this one into a circle-ish. That looks good to me. Play with those until you're happy with them. Erase anything you don't really need. And yeah, that looks okay. So now I'm going to, let's see, the ground is here and there's snow all over, so it's just kind of like wavy, like that. And then we're gonna say he's standing in some snow, so that's wavy like that. Okay, so let's do, and I'm doing him, he's kind of facing off to his left just a wee bit, and that's just so we can put a triangle in instead of a little dot for his nose. So that's why he's not looking really straight ahead. So let's see, I'm going to first put one eye about here, not perfect circles, like imagine coal. Okay, one eye about here, and you see they're off center. I just want them to be looking off a little bit. What's really going to sink that in though is the nose. So this is a little curve here, and then triangle like that. It goes pretty much up to his eye. See that? And then at the bottom, we're just going to draw some little circles for a smile. I need them actually to be higher because of the scarf. That's why we draw light, is so we can erase easily. Okay, so right under his nose, I'm making a smiling coal mouth. Okay, looks good to me. Now we can do the hat. The hat, let's see, it's not a Santa hat, it's a, what do you even call those? My dad always called them toques, but I think he picked that up when he lived in Canada. Let's see, so I'm going to do an arched line like this. Okay, and then this comes up like that. This is just like a snow cap hat. I'm going to do all mine the same color. Mine all the same color. Okay. And then that, beanie, that's it. And then this comes up like that. And then comes back down like that. And then I'm going to put a little dot there. That looks funny to me. I'm going to make the go up just a little bit less high. Let's see, just a little arch and then better. Okay, and now I'm going to add the scarf, which comes, let's see, I'll say about from the edge of his head, arches down underneath his mouth by a little bit. It comes over to the other side. And then I'm going to do two arched lines like this. Okay. And then this over here. And this comes to this side. And then I'm going to make, first I'm going to erase all this extra bits, all these extra bits we don't need. And then I'm going to make a knot here, which is just kind of a circle, not perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to do this for one side of it. Okay. And the same thing, just arched lines come up here. Connect that. There's his scarf. I'm going to put some little buttons down here. So we'll do one here and one there, which is kind of behind the scarf. We'll say a third one is behind the scarf. And then get little twiggy arms, which are like that. Okay. And there we have a super cute snowman sketch. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna erase extraneous lines just because, especially since we're using white, I don't want to have to do too many coats. And that's probably gonna be okay since this is opaque paint. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna paint the sky first, and then I'm going to paint the white part, okay? So when I paint the sky, I'm going to use white and some blue, and I am going to only paint the sky. I'm not worried about this stuff, but I'm gonna leave the white of the snowman as white as I can, just because it's easier to cover white with white than it is to cover blue with white. Also, another option, I'm gonna make my sky pretty light, just because. If you want to, you can make it just straight up blue. You can make it black. You can make it blue and black, a mix of it, to make it nighttime, and your snow will show up a little bit better. But for this, I really just want to do a light blue, and I want it to be pretty light. Make sure you can see that. I get some white, I get a little blue, mix that in. Woo, that's darker than I wanted. This blue goes a long way. Okay, that looks better to me. Okay, so now I'm going to paint the sky blue, and I'm not really being terribly precious about it. I am just trying not to paint the snowman. If I go over some of the snowman, it is super not a big deal. I'm also trying not to paint the snow or anything that's white. Don't worry about the arms, and don't worry if you can't see them. Certainly don't worry about the hat or anything so much. Just do your best and paint the sky blue. Okay, my sky is blue. Will probably dry a little bit darker than this. I can never tell. Gouache has this thing called color shift, which just means when you dry it, and watercolor does the same thing too. It's usually light colors dry darker and dark colors dry lighter, where watercolor is just everything dries lighter. So, but you can never be 100% sure until it actually dries and you see what it's going to do. And it looks like this is darkening a little bit, which is great because I want my snow to show up a little bit. So I'm going to wait till this dries. I obviously need some more white. And here's how I'm going to do this. And hopefully you can probably see. I'm going to get some white paint. I'm keeping it separate from that stuff that I got blue all in just because I want it to be white. And that's dry enough. That's one thing I really like about gouache, is that it dries really fast. But acrylic does too. So, okay, so I'm getting this. It's this acrylic yellow on here, so it's not going anywhere because it is waterproof dry. And I'm going to make sure you can see it, get some white like this. I'm going to do it on, I don't have anything colored around here except that. So I'm going to do this on this where I can see it. Yeah. So you see what I'm doing here? This is called spattering. I'm just like running my finger down the toothbrush. There's no really good way to do it. I mean, you could wear a rubber glove. But other than that, it's just, that's it. Depending on what specific medium you're using, like acrylic paint, you might need to add more or less water, but try it on at least a piece of scrap paper of some sort that you can see, preferably, to make sure that it's making the kind of dots that you want. Or else, I mean, you can always go paint marker, white, gel pen, whatever you want, and just make the marks yourself. So I'm just going to go over this and spatter in some snow I have done better spattering before, but that's okay. It's really snowing out there. There's some big flakes. Hopefully we'll get some big flakes. I like big flakes. Okay. Put as much snow as you want. I'm putting a lot of snow. Okay. Here's me hoping we get a lot of snow. Okay, so here's my snow. Put a little more up here. Put as little or as much as you want. Okay. Wipe off my thumb a little bit. Okay, here is my snowman with snow. Now, since I just used white, I'm not worried about getting white and white. Just make sure your blue is dry. I'm going to paint the snow and the snowman. I'm just going to go over all the rest of it because I'll be able to see it still. I'm going to paint the snow and the snowman pure white. Okay, my snowman is white. I can still see the pencil marks under there, which is great. If you want to give him a second coat, like if you need to, I would just do it in the areas like that you went over on the blue, just because it's really helpful to have those pencil marks under there. If you can't see them, that's fine too. You can always just make it up as you go. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so here's what I have left. I have the arms and I have the nose and the hat and the scarf, etc. Also have this. I'm not going to mess with, actually it might be a good time to do that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I have my white, okay, mostly white. See how I just kind of touched the blue? I'm making a little shadow. And actually, just trying to tell the difference between that and the sky. For the way I did the sky, I'm going to get a little bit of my black. I'm just going to add that in the weeest touch, okay? Like, wee touch. And add that in. I want it mostly blue, but I definitely want it lighter than the sky. Okay, see that little gray color I have? This is what I'm going to use for shadows on the snowman. So here's where I'm going to put them. I'm going to put, I see the rim of the hat. I'm going to go right under where the rim of the hat's going to be. Just paint a line there. Okay. And I'm going to go right under where, whew, paint on my hands, where the scarf is going to be and not get paint everywhere. And I'm going to paint this line here. It goes to there. And it goes to here. Okay, and I'm going to paint, let's see, paint the bottom of the scarf like that, and around this back side. And you see what I'm doing? I'm making shadows before I paint in the rest of it. You can do that after. I find that this gives me more room for error later on. So I'm going to paint the bottom of that, and I'm saying that light is coming from here, and so this part, this top part of everything is going to be lighter. Okay, and so now I'm going to go here, and this is right below that line. This is where the top snow meets the bottom, right there. Okay, and then I'm going to start with, I'm going to do this line here, all the way under our snowman. Okay. Now, where the snowman is over the snow, there are a few things we can do, but what I'm going to do is the simple one, And from here on out, I'm just gonna do that. You see what I'm doing here? And that, often the simple thing is the easiest. So if the light's over there, I'm also going to do this, just kind of extend shadow down here into the snow a little bit. Some more water. So it looks like he's like actually there. Shadows are great. Shadows can do a lot for a painting. You just add something more detail. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Get a good bit of water on here. Do the same thing up here. I'm going to do, that's kind of coming down like that to show that this is round. It's not going to go all the way down. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here, just kind of arches. There we go. So now our snowman just has a little bit more dimension. I'm going to do right there too. Right there. He just has a little bit more dimension. So there is our snowman's shadow. What is that? Oh, it's a flake of paint. Gross. Flake paint. I have used the same mason jars for paint for several years now. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do, let's see, I'm looking to see right now what's dry and what's not. And I think I'm safe to do the black. So I'm gonna get my brush, get the white off of it. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of black here. Ooh, that's too much water. You have to be careful, like depending on what medium you're using, you'll want to use more or less water. Gouache uses more water than acrylics. If you're using acrylics, you want to use very little water. Anyway, okay, so without getting your arm or your clothing in here, because acrylics are almost impossible to get off. You can, with 91% rubbing alcohol, will get most of it out, especially if you catch it early. It also is great at getting it off carpet, and I know about that. So I'm going to paint these eyes. Remember, they do not need to be perfect circles because they are coal. And they're off-center because he's looking off-center a little bit. There we go. And then I can kind of see the smile. I do these dots. I think I might end up making these up as I go because I'm not sure. Okay, there's his smile. He kind of looks creepy right now, doesn't he? I'm going to put in the buttons. And this one just goes to the scarf. So it's cut off. Okay. And that is it for black. Now I'm going to get out my orange. I'm going to do the nose. Just make sure the nose doesn't hit the eye, because the eye will probably still be wet. We don't want that. Okay. I'm going to go in here. Here's some orange, which you can see. And I can barely see where my nose started. So I'm just going to paint in. Come on, brush. Oh, better. Kind of paint in where that brush is. Where that nose is. There we go. Not perfect, but reasonable. Okay. Cute. That is it for our orange. Now I'm going to get out purple. Remember, use whatever color you want. Is it dry? Yes. Is that dry? Not quite. I'm going to go ahead and do... Now I'm going to get my hands in the arms if we do that first, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do purple. This purple I'm using is a very, very dark purple. It's also a very transparent purple, so I'm going to use mostly purple. Where's my brush? But I'm going to add whatever white's left over to it to get... I don't want light purple, I just want a not completely dark purple that I can see. This is nice, like, what color is that? Fake grape candy color. Reminds me of my childhood. Grape was always my favorite candy color. I mean candy flavor. Anyway. So I'm going to paint this hat purple. Right now I'm just painting the whole thing. I'm going to go back with completely dark purple and paint some shadows on it. A second. For right now, I'm just painting the whole thing down to that shadow line we put in. Okay, and now I'm going to paint the scarf. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going down to that shadow line. Okay, there is my scarf. We are almost done. Okay, now we need to dry it, but I'm not going to. Okay, so dry your painting. You probably want to dry it just because that hat and scarf were really wet, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to get some pure purple without the white in it over here. Water in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a few little lines here. Wow, that looks a lot darker to you than it does to me. That's okay. I'm going to add, this is just a little arc underneath that little hat. And I'm going to do the top of where the thing would be so we could see it. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. A little bump there. Okay. And then I'm going to go underneath it too. Okay. And now for the scarf, get some more purple. And I am going to go around the knot. It's getting hairy because that is very wet still. Okay. Like that. All the way around the bottom. You can skip the very top. And I'm going to go down the sides by where the snow shadow is. I'm also going to put a little line there. I'm going to take this. I'm not going over the shadow. Just going next to it. This is just adding a little dimension. Okay. And there we go. If you want to add some cute little tassels, why not? I'm going to add some cute little tassels. Just little lines. Because why in the world would we not? Because they're cute. That's cute. Okay. And now all we have left are the arms. Guys, so cute. Okay. I'm gonna get some of my brown. your white should be dry, and that's all I'm going over, and so I'm not worried about it. If for some reason, if your snowflakes are still wet, like if you really piled it on, then I would dry it, let it dry before you do this part. If they are dry, don't worry about it. I'm going to try not to get my hand in everything, as I want to do. I'm going to paint the arms. I can still see the lines underneath. Make him some little twig arms. Okay. This guy is ultra cute. Oh my gosh. He's so cute. If you want to, you can be fancy and add a shadow under the nose, but I'm not going to do that. That's so cute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign my painting. I think I'm going to sign it. I'm going to get whatever white I have left, a wee bit of this purple, and sign it in light purple. I don't want it to stick out too much. The bottom, don't forget to sign your painting. It is awesome because you did it. Sign it down here. Ah, this brush. This brush might have had it better. Okay. Here is my signed snowman. If I were to go back and do it again, I'd probably make the sky a little bit darker. It looks a little bit darker to you. I think that's cute. So cute. It's like a sunny, almost sunny day. It's like bright and snowy and super cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now I'm squeeing over this. It's so cute. Okay, so now I'm going to peel up my tape very carefully. If you're using tape, do it slowly and carefully so you don't ruin the painting that you just made. So cute. Look at that guy. Okay. This one turned out particularly cute. I hope you enjoyed this art club. I certainly did, and here's to hoping we get a snow day or two next week. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week, and we will make more art. Bye!